At 22 I was the winner of the South Australian Spearfishing Championship, holding my breath and spearing various fish within a time limit. I tried to get my title back in 1963 at Aldinga Beach. After 3 or 4 hours I needed to catch some odd species, so I swam out far from shore where none of the other competitors were and dove to the bottom. I was about to pull the trigger on a really prized fish when a huge blow hit me in the side. It knocked the gun out of my hands and the mask off my face, and I was pulled through the water faster than I had ever swam before. At first I thought I had been hit by a submarine, but then I realized it must be a huge shark, a great white. Fortunately, I talked to a guy who was bitten on the leg a year ago, and I found out that the most vulnerable part of a shark is its eyes. So I gouged his head and tried to get the shark to let me go. And it happened. I fell out of his mouth and instinctively pushed my hand away, but it went into his mouth and ripped on his teeth. I then grabbed the shark in a bear hug around the belly because I knew it couldn't bite me there. I was 30 or 40 feet underwater and realized I was going to drown if I didn't move. I let it go and kicked it to the surface, then looked down through the blood-red water and saw that big set of white teeth coming back at me. I kicked the shark as hard as I could but only touched it. Instead it turned around and swallowed the float I had tied my fish to. The float was connected to my lead belt by a rope that caught on the shark's teeth. It pulled me under the water again. I knew I had to find a quick release belt, but my hands were cut. I was within seconds of drowning when the shark pulled, the rope snapped and I managed to float to the surface. Miraculously the ship was on its way to look at all the red water and the people on board pulled me inside. The fear of death outweighs the pain. It wasn't until I was lying on the boat that the waves of pain came. I knew I had done the best I could, now it was up to my rescuers to try and save me. There was no microsurgery at that time, so they put 29 stitches in my lung to close the pleural sac, and every rib on the left side was broken. I had a total of 462 stitches in my chest because all my organs were exposed and my torso was ripped apart. Doctors said it was the worst shark attack they had ever seen. A year and a half after the attack I entered the Australian Javelin Championships and finished first in several events.